In this video, I'm going to show you how to select horse races in order to do the extra place offer, and then show you how to select horses in each race in order to make a profit. Hi, Chris here. Welcome back to the channel where I have a Facebook and Telegram group, as well as daily uploads on the channel to do with match betting at 6 p.m. every day, and a live stream from 7 to 8 p.m. answering all your questions on anything match betting related. I've got a few different things to cover on this subject for the strategy of placing bets on horse extra place offers, and we're going to be looking at how you can select a race and what kind of horses you should be betting on each race. And then as a bonus at the end, I'm going to tell you all about how you can use odds boosts to get your qualifying losses right down to a minimum. In the first part of the video, I'm going to show you examples of different races that you should and shouldn't bother with. Then in part 2, I'm going to show you how you can select the best horses to get on for each particular race. And then part 3 of the video at the end, as I said, I'll be showing you examples of how odds boosts really get your qualifying losses right down and allow you to make more profit in the long run. If you clicked on this video and you're not 100% sure what a horse extra place offer is, I do have a couple of videos on the channel with a more advanced explanation, as well as a video on the channel explaining what the offer is really simply. Firstly then, let's look at the criteria for how you want to be selecting races. Just remember that when you see an extra place offer on a race, just because it has the offer, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to get bets on it and it make money for you. You really need to stick to these specific parameters in order for this to work. So typically, an extra place will be paid when there's at least 10 horses in a race and it's a special kind of race, or maybe there's more prize money involved and things like that. What I tend to look for is if there's only one extra place being paid, find a race that has between 10 to 14 horses running in it. Here's a great example over on the Oddsmonkey extra place matcher of a race I found for today, which is the Carlisle 1230. And what you can see here is actually this bookmaker are paying out 4th and 5th, so 2 extra places. And then when we check over on the exchange, 2 horses have actually dropped out of the race, meaning that 14 horses were supposed to be running, but that now there's only 12. So that actually means you got 12 horses running and only 2 places being paid. So that's fantastic for really getting your chances of your horse finishing in that extra place. A top tip though, always make sure that you check the terms of these extra place races. So for example, it says we are paying 5 places instead of 3 on all each way bets if there are 12 runners or more. And as I said, there are 12 runners because 2 have dropped out of the 14 horse race. Then if you go on to further terms and conditions, it says if only 10 runners or more, you'll get paid out at 4 places. So if 1 more horse drops out and 11 or even 10 run, then you're only going to get 1 extra place paid. So it's still worth getting on as far as a race is concerned, because that means that if more horses are dropping out and you're still getting 1 place paid, it falls within our 10 to 14 horses criteria. Sometimes 2 extra places will be paid, so instead of just finding a race with 10 to 14 horses, we can now look at a race with 10 to 18 horses on it because of that extra place being paid. So now you know the basic criteria for how to select an extra place race. We'll now look at how you can select a horse for that race. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, I really do appreciate it if you press the like button below. It helps YouTube with ranking the video higher in the search results. Getting into how you select a horse then, the first thing I want to concentrate and show you is the odds match and the rate percentage. So getting on the laptop then to show you what I mean by percentage rate, as you can see in the column here on the extra place matcher, the very top result here is 88.05%. And that's really not good enough, even though there's only 12 horses running and that bookmaker is paying out 4th and 5th. You would typically for that race still want a sort of 92% or higher match for it to be worth getting on. Remember, for this to work, we need to keep the qualifying losses column to be as small as possible, because when that horse doesn't finish in the extra place, of course, that's the amount of money that you're going to lose. Many times your horse may not finish in that extra place, so you will be taking these losses, but if they're extremely small, as in pennies or maybe up to £1 or something like that, or even fully matched so that you're not losing any money whatsoever, then over the long run, the profit that you'll be making with it landing in the extra place will far outweigh the small losses that you take from the qualifying losses. But the variable on how to select which percentage rate to get on a horse for each race is so wide, because of course if there's only 10 horses running but there's 2 places being paid extra, you could then afford to get on that horse for a 90% match because there's so few horses running and the extra place being paid. Whereas if there's 18 horses and only 1 extra place is being paid, you've got a much less chance of that horse landing in that exact place you need, and therefore you would really want to take a 98% or higher match. This is why I now do a video at 10 AM every Saturday morning to let you know if there's any good races you can get on. And as well, I'll be doing these at big race events such as Cheltenham, Royal Ascot and the Grand National, etc. After you've managed to find a horse with the back and lay odds that have matched as close as possible, the next thing you want to be looking at is, does that horse have a high back odds? And as you can see here on the laptop, that's because, say for example, with this one at the top here, its back odds are only 3. So even if we put in £20 each way stake there, even £20 each way or £40 total is only going to bring us £23.22 if that horse finishes in the extra place. Now compare that to this horse at the bottom here and put a £20 each way bet on that, and at odds of 41, that will then make £152.06 if it finishes in the extra place. Higher odds horses are of course more likely to finish in those further places back away from the first place as well. And if you're working with a smaller bankroll of say £1,000, the comparison we can do is just a £5 each way bet on that horse of odds of 41. That's going to take up around £250 of liability for laying the win and laying the place at your exchange, but we're going to return £38 in profit if it finishes in the extra place. Whereas the horse with only back odds of 3, even with the £5 each way bet on there, it's only going to bring you £5.81, and that compared to £38, that's a big difference. So if you've got the odds match on closely for both of them, then the higher odds horse is much better to take. And finally, now let me just show you how using odds boosts at bookmakers can really get your odds matches much closer. Now, what we want to do here again is be selecting horses with a much higher back odds. I'll show you why, because when you look at this horse here, back odds of 3, and we go and select that, and then select to boost the odds, that's only going to boost it, because it's low odds, it's only boosting it to 3.15. So that's really not going to make much difference. If we type in 3.15, it's going to go from a 78% match to an 81% match, which is only a 3% difference. Now, if we go back and we actually select a much higher odds horse, so for example, this one here at the bottom, so that's back odds of 67, and we boost that one, that's now boosting that to 76.53. So we can change it, 76.53, and that's going to go from a 36.19 up to a 41. So it's actually increased our odds percentage rate match by 5% instead of just 3%. At the same time, it's also going to get us more profit because it's a much higher odds horse. Odds boosts are great when you've got a percentage match of say 92% and you want to boost it just that bit more to get it to say 95 or 96% to make it a much better option. So I hope that's explained my strategy for how I select races for the horse extra place offer and how I select horses in each race. And if you're watching this before Cheltenham Festival 2021, I'm actually going to be live streaming each day of the race to show you exactly what horses you can be getting on to really help as many people as possible make as much money as possible. So thank you very much for watching then, and I'll see you in the next one.